The assistant, after considering this, rightly dismissed it. "When that big serial of his was on last year," he said, "the wife and I stayed home for it every Saturday night. So did just about everyone else our way. It was so exciting, not like anything we'd ever seen." Anna nodded and smiled. It had been Richard's first great success. "We got married on the strength of that," she said. She remembered the register office in Chelsea, next to the foot clinic, Richard's parents down from the north of England, Mama over from Berlin, their own friends from the BBC, Cousin Otto passing out at the reception and saying it was the heat, but it had really been the champagne. And the taxi coming, and Richard and herself driving off and leaving them all behind. "It was quite exciting for us, too," she said. When she walked out of the store into Tottenham Court Road, the world exploded into noise and light. A new building was going up next door, and the sunshine trembled with the din of pneumatic drills. One of the workmen had taken off his shirt in spite of the October chill and winked at her as she passed. Behind him, the last remains of a bombed building, scraps of wallpaper still adhering to the bricks and plaster, crumbled to a bulldozer. Soon there would be no bomb damage at all left visible in London. And about time too, she thought, 11 years after the war. She crossed the road to get away from the noise. Here the shops were more or less unchanged, shabby and haphazard, selling things you could not imagine anyone wanting to buy. The Woolworths, too, was much as she remembered it. She had come here with Mama when they had first arrived in England as refugees from Hitler, and Mama had bought herself a pair of silk stockings for £1. Later, when Papa could no longer earn any money, Mama had been reduced to buying the stockings one at a time for 6p, and even though they were supposed to be all the same colour, they had never quite matched. "If only, just once, I could buy myself 2 stockings together," she had cried. And now here was Anna buying expensive rugs and Mama earning dollars back in Germany as though none of the hardships had ever happened. Only Papa had not lived to see everything change. For a moment she considered trying to find the boarding house somewhere nearby, which had been her first English home, but decided against it. It had been bombed during the Blitz and would probably be unrecognisable anyway. Once she had tried to show Richard the other boarding house in Putney where they had moved after the bomb, but had found it replaced by 3 skimpy family dwellings with identical treeless lawns and crazy paving. The only thing that had been the same was the bench at the end of the street where Papa had sometimes sat in the sun with his pipe. He had eked out the tobacco with dried leaves and rose petals, and for lunch he had eaten bread toasted over the gas ring and spread with exactly 1/7 of a jar of fish paste. If only he could have lived to see all this, thought Anna, as she passed a wine shop crammed with bottles. How he would have enjoyed it. Oxford Street was bustling with Saturday shoppers. Should she walk through to Liberty's for a look at their lamps? But a number 73 bus stopped just as she was passing, and she jumped on, climbed to the top deck and sat with the sun warming her face, visualising the new rug in their tiny dining room and planning what to wear to go out that evening, while the bus made its slow way through the traffic. Outside Selfridge's, people were staring up at the brightly coloured plaster figure which was being hoisted into place above the main entrance. "Come and see Uncle Holly and his Grotto of Dwarfs," read posters in every window. Heavens, she thought, they're getting ready for Christmas already. In Hyde Park, clearly making for Speaker's Corner, a small procession moved briskly under the thinning plane trees. Its members carried handmade placards with "Russians out of Hungary" on them, and one had mounted that morning's newspaper on a piece of cardboard. It showed a photograph of Russian tanks under the headline, "Ring of Steel round Budapest." Most of them looked like students, but a few elderly people in dark, old-fashioned clothes were probably Hungarian refugees. One of them, a man in a shabby